The longtime Central High School principal has announced his retirement, a gnarly crash that shut down the Houston Hart frontage road, and an update on this week's jury trials. Plus, Cover1 Hoops gets you ready for all of tonight's high school basketball games. All this plus more. I'm Yantis Green, and this is Live. But first, are you hungry for a steak? Take a trip out to Miles and select the juiciest and tastiest cuts of steaks in Texas at Sklenarek's. Sklenarek's Smoked Meats is an award-winning smokehouse located on the main street there in Miles, Texas at 108 South Robinson. Sklenarek's Smoked Meats is open from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. weekdays and then 9 to noon on Saturdays. It's a drive that's well worth the taste. Sklenarek's Smoked Meats in Miles, Texas. We start the news today with some sad news. Longtime San Angelo Central High School principal Bill Waters yesterday announced he has decided to retire. Waters has been at Central High School for the past 30 years and made an impact on countless students' lives. In a quote sent out to parents and students, Waters said, quote, I have had the absolute privilege to meet, work with, and work for so many incredible people. I have been able to build several staff teams filled with outstanding educators and hard-working, loving people. We here at San Angelo Live wish him a happy retirement. At around lunchtime this afternoon, a section of the Houston Hart frontage road at Chadbourn Street was closed down following a bad crash. The crash occurred around 1 o'clock this afternoon and left 2 vehicles totaled and 1 person hospitalized. Officers with the San Angelo Police Department did confirm that the crash occurred at the intersection of 6th Street in Chadbourn. That's the Houston Hart frontage road. The reason the crash happened? The driver of the vehicle headed north on Chadbourn ran the red light. Luckily, the driver who was taken to the hospital only had minor injuries. For more photos and details and video of the crash, check it out, the article only on SanAngeloLive.com. In court today, the punishment phase began in the Burrito murder trial. Jurors were told of the ugly past of convicted murderer Abel Rueda. Before and after the murder, Rueda was a violent man. Prior to the murder, Rueda had been convicted of aggravated assault without a deadly weapon in Taylor County. A month after the murder, Rueda is accused of robbing a Metro PCS cell phone store and committing a drive-by in Big Spring. The jury is now deciding whether or not he will spend the rest of his days behind bars. The penalty he is facing is from 5 to 99 years. We'll update that story when that information becomes available. In Taylor County on Friday, a jury was also deciding the fate of a convicted murderer. We told you earlier in the week that Johnny and Michael Miller were on trial for the murder of Aaron Howard in what has become known as the mattress murder. The case became famous after the shooting was caught on video. Even though the two were both seen shooting Howard, the jury only found the father, Johnny Miller, guilty. Michael Miller has been acquitted, and his 72-year-old father was sentenced today to 14 years in prison. And finally, weather for this weekend. Expect a lot of sun. It's going to be a nice weekend, a little breezy on Saturday, but enjoy it because it won't be lasting that long. For Saturday and Sunday, expect high temperatures in the lower 60s, with temperatures in the mornings in the lower 40s, 42, 43 degrees. But then by Monday, a winter storm is headed this way and will probably hit us Monday. That will start the week off with what looks like winter weather. There is a chance for freezing rain almost every day next week, and even a chance of snow on Wednesday. About 60% is where they have it right now. So stay tuned to San Angelo Live to get that winter weather. As that winter weather gets closer, we'll let you know what's happening. This has been a quick live daily news update. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to download that San Angelo Live app for your phone. From all of us here at San Angelo Live, I'm Yantis Green. And now here's Cover1 Hoops.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cover1 pregame show for tonight's Texas high school basketball games. I'm your host, Matt Trammell. We're going to bring in our other two hosts for tonight's show. We got first Ryan Chadwick. Ryan, what's up?
Get back in the win column tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a kind of a struggle for the Bobcats, and we'll talk more about that here in a second. But now I want to bring in my other co-host, as you all know, James Bellini. James, been a good week of basketball. How's your week been?
It has been a good week of basketball. We got another good one tonight down in Ozona, so I'm ready for it.
Yep, you've been following Christoval the whole time, and we will get into them as well. But first, we're going to go to the Central Bobcats and the Lady Cats. So, Chadwick, you are the one that's been covering them the most. Let's go to you first. How was Tuesday's matchup, and how did the Bobcats and the Lady Cats fare in those games?
Well, the Lady Cats play the early game, as always, and they actually won their fourth district game in a row. They started off the district 0-2 and haven't lost since. And it's not just that they've been winning close games or playing really hard. They've been dismantling the rest of the district. After they lost to Friendship in Odessa, the first two games of district season, they just haven't looked back. So they're playing a really tough Friendship Tigers team again in San Angelo tonight. And it's going to be tough for them to win this one. Their three playmakers got to put their best foot forward, and that'll be Alyssa Barron, Jules Perez, and Navia Harn for them to have a chance to win that one.
Yeah, before you keep going, I'm just wanting to let's break down the Tigers a little bit, James. What do we know about the Friendship Tigers and the Lady Tigers?
Well, the Lady Tigers are in first place in this district. They're a pretty good team, and so are the Tigers. The Tigers, I think we were talking about it right before the show started. They've put up like 2,000 points this year, right? So, I mean, those are good numbers, man. Central has an uphill battle tonight.
Yeah, they definitely have their hands full. Chadwick, what do you think is going to be the most important key for the let's go start with the Lady Cats. What would you think the key is for the Lady Cats if they want to get over this really, really, really good Friendship Ball Club?
Well, we already know that the Lady Cats are going to play sound defense. It's usually what they're best at. They're very like with the Bobcats in that way. But they got to finish their shots. Whenever I talk to Coach Jeter, that's when the Lady Cats don't have a very, very good game, that's always his complaint. It's like we just can't finish our shots sometimes. And I think what he means is driving when they're driving in the lane and they're putting up layups and stuff like that. So the Lady Cats gotta be perfect on offense if they're going to win this game.
James, what about the boys' side? What would the Central Bobcats have to do for them to get over what has so far been a monster of a team? 24-3, 5-0 in district Friendship Tiger team.
I think if Friendship doesn't show up, that's the only way Central wins. No, I just gotta play good defense. They gotta play really sound defense, and they gotta play discipline too. That's another thing.
Yeah, and they got to play.
They got to play their game. They got to play. Yeah. You can't let it get out of hand. You're at home. Control everything.
Exactly, and you got to play through your playmakers. We got a few on the team. We got, Squeaky. We got his brother Jacob. We got some more. Chadwick, kind of talk about that unit when it comes to the defensive side, though, because that's one thing that they're really going to have to do, and I think that's what's kind of the coach is stressing for this week.
One of their best defenders on the court at all times is going to be Jacob English. He's really long. He has a lot of length. He can jump real high and he's quick. He was wide receiver number 1. And so he's good at keeping the ball in front of him. As far as just the overall scheme tonight, Central prides themselves on not allowing teams to score very many points. They've had one game all season where the opponent got away from them, and that was that unbelievable shooting night from Odessa Permian a couple weeks ago. But other than that, teams don't usually score more than 60 on them ever. So they're going to have to keep Friendship under about 55 to 60 points if they're going to win this game.
All right, well, I need some picks, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it. James, we'll start with you. Who you picking for the Lady Cats first, and then give me the Bobcats after that.
I'm going to go with the Lady Cats in this one. I think it's going to be a tight one, close one, probably 39 to 35. And for the boys, I'm going to go Friendship 58 to 49.
For me, I think it's going to be a really good game on both of these games. I think the Lady Cats are probably in a little bit deeper trouble than the boys are. So I'm going to say the Friendship Lady Tigers win that one They're probably going to win that one by about 10 points. I'd say 46-36. And then for the boys game, though, I'm thinking maybe this may be the time for the Bobcats to turn things around. We're going to we're on a 3-game losing streak, but bang, all you need is one good game. And if it's against the team that may win the district, this may be a good chance for you to move up in those standings moving into the playoffs. I got this one a thriller that Central wins. It's going to be 59-58. Gamer, Chadwick, what do you think?
I'm kind of on the same page as you tonight, Matt. The Lady Cats have been playing amazing basketball, but this Friendship Tiger team is just too big, too disciplined, and like they're going to win this one. I also agree with you. It's going to be about a 10-point game. I think that it's going to be a little bit lower scoring, just how good Lady Cats defense is, but I'm going to say 35-25 around there, and it might get to 40, But for the boys, I'm also going to say Central rights the ship tonight. Friendship's 5-0. This is a trap game for them. You know what I mean? They're going into somebody else's house, and it's not like Central's been losing these games badly. They lost against Midland High by 4, and they lost in overtime to Odessa High last week. So this Central basketball team is still a really good team. They just need to put it all together, So I'm going to say Central wins tonight, 70-68.
All right, 70-68. That's our picks for the San Angelo Central Bobcats and Lady Cats game tonight. Make sure you go check out the game. Ryan, where's the game going to be at? What time does these things start?
Games start tonight at 6:15 at the San Angelo Central D Gym at Central High School.
All right, make sure you are there. But if you're not there, Ryan Chadwick will be there, so we'll be looking for his write-up after the game. Moving on, we're also going out to Ozona tonight for the Christoval Cougars and Lady Cougars taking on the Ozona Lions and Lady Lions? Lady Lions? All right, just making sure. We're going to go to James, says he's going to be at the game. James, what are you most excited for when we're talking about this matchup?
Are you talking about the girls matchup or the boys?
Either
matchup?
one.
Both
Just tell me what makes you most excited about this matchup.
I'm excited to see if the Lady Cougars can tie the Ozona Lions for first place. This is the only team they lost to in that first half of district, and they've been playing really good, and they don't have any seniors on that team, so they're incredibly young. They're fired up, and their coach, he's fired up for them, and I'm excited to see how they do, in this game. And the Cougars, they dropped a couple games, so they need to win this one to kind of stay up in district. They didn't drop the game against El Dorado on Tuesday, but they did lose to Reagan County and Forsan, I think a couple weeks ago or a couple games ago.
Forsan last Friday,
and then Reagan County before that. So. Yeah, they've got to they got to win this one to stay up, and I think they'll win this one pretty good.
All right, Chadwick, let's start with the girls. Let's talk about that. What is your kind of deep dive into this thing?
I think like the first time that these two teams matched up, Ozona handled the Lady Cougars, and I'm talking about like 15, 16 points, something like that. So that was still early enough in the season where the team was still kind of coming together. So. And as y'all will see here in a little bit, I was talking to Coach Clarke, and he told me, he's like, this team is just different than it was the first time around that they played them. So I'm excited to see what he was talking about when he said that these girls have grown and they're playing more as a team and they're being more effective. But yeah, it's going to be a good game to watch.
I will tell you this: the Lady Cougars are 9-1 in district and 17-11 overall. So most of the games they have lost were not in their district. This is a district game, so 9-1. If they want to have a shot at that district championship, they really have to secure this one. So look for that one to be definitely a feisty game in that one. James, looking at the boys, what are we thinking? Are we going to be a blowout here?
I don't know if it'll be a blowout. We talked about Jaron Slayton a lot. He deserves to be talked about. He's a very good player for him. But Sebastian Salinas plays really good down there in the post. It's not just the Slayton show. They are a pretty well-rounded team. And, I just think that this will be a good solid win for the boys there in Christoval.
What about you, Chadwick? Are you thinking that this one's going to be pretty much an easy one for the Christoval boys team?
I think it could be a trap game. I think that the playmakers are going to have to do their thing to make sure it doesn't become something like that, because that's how basketball goes. You can get upset pretty easy like that.
Yeah.
You come in off or something.
Yeah, but
your shots aren't falling. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I do think that Christoval is going to win this one.
All right, so let's get some picks going before we give them all away. James, we're going to start with you. Give me your picks for the girls' game and then the boys' game, and then kind of just explain.
You know what? I think the girls' game is going to go to overtime. I think it's going to be a tie. I think Christoval is going to remember, that they got beat by them. They're going to come out and they're going to come out hot and strong, and it's going to go to overtime. I think Lady Cougars end up winning that one, and the boys I think will win. Their Cougars will win by about 10. I think they'll do a pretty good job there. 10, 15, somewhere in there.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say that things are actually going to be a lot similar to what we saw the first time these two teams met for the girls. I mean, yeah, they had a few missing pieces, but overall, I think a 15-point win will probably happen again. I don't think it'll be exactly 15. It may be around that 8, 9, 10 area right there. But at one point, these Lady Lions will definitely be leading by about 15. So for that, I will say final score probably 56-44. Yeah, that's 8. Yeah. Chad,
12.
And then for the boys, I'm sorry, yeah. So for the boys, yeah, that's the wrong way. Sorry, excuse me. But for the boys, I think the boys are going to win pretty heavily. Either way, I don't know that word. Handedly, sure. There's a million words you can throw in there. I think they're going to win pretty easily. 20-point victors there. I think this is going to be a big game for Jared Slayton, but only time will tell. Chadwick, let me hear your picks.
I'm also going to go with the Ozona Lady Lions tonight. Again, this is a very young team, and I know Coach Clarke is fired up about how good his girls are playing. Although I don't think it's going to be a 15-point game, I'm going to pick the Lady Lions by like 4. So I think as much as on fire as Christoval has been lately, I can see that I can see what the coach is saying when he said they've improved. So let's see them still lose, but not by as much. They're just not quite there yet. Let's see how they are next year when they have a bunch of seniors on there. But for the guys, I picked the Cougars by 15.
All right. Well, there's our picks. This is the first half of our preview show. We've talked a little bit about Central. We've talked a little bit about Christoval. Go ahead and rewind if you missed it, because it's some good talks. After our coach's interview, we will be talking about the Wall Hawks and the CLCA Eagles. So stay tuned. And then also we'll have a rapid fire round where we'll be hitting schools all across the Concho Valley. Just make sure you are 100% informed. But before that, we will go to a quick word from our advertisers, and then we will interview head coach for the Christoval girls basketball team, Coach Brady Clarke. But before that, here's a word from our sponsors.
You've been asking for discounts, and I've been asking the factory for vehicles. Well, it's all lining up. We are offering big discounts, and our lots are filling up with inventory. It's a great time to be looking for a new car or truck. We have up to $9,500 in total savings. You can only get deals like this at Jim Bass Ford, at the corner of Houston Hart and Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
So we were on vacation, family vacation, having a good time, and we get the call.
I mean, it was a river. It was a river in our house. That's the big thing, is we kept wondering, how bad is it?
It was devastating. I was like numb. It's like, how are we going to handle all this? What are we going to do?
I'm here with head coach of the Christoval Lady Cougars, Brady Clarke. Welcome, and thanks for coming on, Coach.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about this.
Glad to hear it. We're always excited to have head coaches on as well. Have moved past the halfway point in the season, past the halfway point in district for y'all anyway. Coach, sitting at 9-1, how are y'all feeling about the season so far?
I think the last few games we've kind of reached a different level. We've been playing really well, putting up some points, and the girls are just having fun. You can see it on their faces. So I feel pretty good going into this game. Obviously, this next one versus Ozona, they're the one that got us in the first half. So we're really looking forward to a great practice today, and then going up there tomorrow and trying to get a win.
And, Coach, this weekend is a really big game. It could be what decides that eventual district championship, going up to Ozona to play Ozona, right?
Yes, sir.
So, played them once already this year, lost by about 10. It was a back-and-forth game. What do you think is going to be different this time around?
We've got such a young team. I think just having them play, get more games under their belt, that I think we're such a better team than we were when we played them the first time. So I think that's one thing. I also know that we had a 2-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and we had a 5-point lead with 3 seconds left in the third. So, I mean, the fourth quarter just didn't go our way, but I think we can put 4 quarters together tomorrow and hopefully come out with a win. Ozona is a good team. They're fun to play against. It's a fun little rivalry. I love Coach Myers, but hopefully we can go up there and get them tomorrow.
And Coach, like you said, the fourth quarter didn't go y'all's way. Sometimes the shots don't fall. Do you think that has something to do with the lack of experience on that team? Just because, like, y'all have no seniors on the roster this year, is that right?
Yeah, we have no seniors. We have, I think, 3 juniors and 5 sophomores. It might have something to do with it. I mean, these girls have played basketball for a very long time, and they're a very talented bunch. I'm going to give credit to Ozona. They made some adjustments in the fourth quarter that were key, and then they got to the free throw line, and we didn't. And so that was the difference in that fourth quarter, coming off of that last game. But no, our kids are ready. They're good. They are young, but sometimes that young can help us.
Well, Coach, we all wish you luck, and everyone here in the San Angelo area are hoping that y'all pull out a win there. But looking back to last week, had a rivalry game, and y'all came home with the victory. What was the message, and how do you think your girls played after the victory over the Lady Eagles?
That was a gutsy win. That was the worst start that we've had all year. And we've played some tough teams. I mean, we've had bad starts, but that one takes the cake. We got down, I think, 16-6. It was 15-6 after the first quarter. It was just a dogfight. We couldn't score. And just to see these girls just continue to fight, we make adjustments and try to go with those adjustments. And it was just a big win for us emotionally, I think, as well, because, that we didn't play our best. El Dorado took it to us for what seemed like 3 quarters. And then we found a way just to stay in the game. And when we hit our run, we're pretty special. And these girls are starting to figure that out. We gotta handle pressure a little bit better. But it's the most proud I've been of this team fighting through that win. Because like you said, that's a fun rivalry. That Robbie is a really good player up there in El Dorado. It's fun to play against them. And I'm just glad that we came out on top. I think it was a big win just for us emotionally to come back and win a game like that.
Well, Coach, you know what they say, good teams win close games down the stretch, so it looks like y'all are shaping up to be one of those particularly good teams. And speaking of which, when it comes down to crunch time, it doesn't have to be someone who just, one player that you rely on, because I'm sure everyone plays as a team here, but talk about the girls for a minute. Give me a couple of names. Who really does the hard work and who's really just putting in the effort this year?
Man, you want to talk about some gritty work. We've got Brady Silva and Jordan Walker. They play the bottom of our zone. They're both 6 foot tall. And, it is hard to score on us because of them down there. They do a great job of getting their hands straight up. They do a great job of not fouling. They do a great job of rebounding. We've had games where both of them have 10 plus rebounds. And they score maybe 4 points each. It's just, they do such a good job. And then we have games that, they do the bulk of the scoring for us, but they do a lot of really hard work down there in the paint on defense, and then offensively they do a great job of just they've worked on sealing all year. They've gotten better at it and scoring, but just hard work. I got to give it to those two. We've got Sienna Gonzalez and Kaylin Workman playing the top of our zone. Their energy is just absolutely fantastic. Caitlin Workman can sometimes be a little Tasmanian devil out there, and she just creates. They both create just havoc, and which is what we want. Want to create some havoc there, and so those 4 defensively just do a really good job for us. Offensively, I think we've got 2 kids that are special, Hallie Hughes and Madison George, that can really score the basketball, take care of it, dribble it, do everything that you need on the offensive end. But then they're unselfish as well. They get the ball to their teammates. I think Aaliyah Boggs is a fantastic shooter. She's had games where she's hit 5 threes, 4 threes. She's our leading 3-point shooter at the moment. They do a really good job of finding her. And we just got like a couple other girls that can shoot it. And it's a fun team to have. You never know who's gonna, you know what you're gonna get from some of them, but you never know who's gonna pop.
Well, Coach, I know we all love to see when the head coach gets so passionate about its players, and I know it probably makes those girls feel pretty good too. So, again, I'm hoping y'all really take it to Ozona on Friday and go and get that win. I got one more question for you, and this was more just a fun one to just so we as the fans get to know you a little bit better. But growing up, who was your favorite basketball player, team, anything like that, and what kind of coaching style do you model your game after?
Growing up, I've always been a Dallas Mavericks fan. I was a big Dirk Nowitzki fan. Anytime the 2011 NBA championship rerun, something comes up on that, I'm going to watch it. That was a really fun time for me growing up. My biggest inspiration for coaching is my granddad, Jerry Chitsey. He was a coach at Wall for 20 plus years, went to a couple state championships. But I'd say I model my coaching after Steve Gomez from LCU the most that I can. I joke that I have a pretty big man crush on him. He's a great guy, strong Christian, loves his kids, but coaches hard. I had two cousins that got to play for him, so I got to go up there and watch a lot. Get to talk to him every once in a while, and he's just such a good dude that he's the kind of guy that I want to be, or the kind of coach that I want to be. A coach that loves his kids, loves the Lord, and coaches really hard. So.
And, Coach, on top of that, I know I said that was the last question, but this will be the last one. I know that you coached at Christoval a couple of years ago and then left, and then now that you've come back, you're the head coach. What does that mean to you specifically that you're back a part of this community and you are the head coach of the Lady Cougars?
That was always the dream. When I got here the first time, I fell in love with this community. I'm from a small community around here, and then coming out here and getting my first job, this community, me and my wife fell in love with it. We think it's a fantastic place. We think the parents are great. The kids are better. And it's a great place to be a part of. So when I left to get a head coaching job, I always knew in the back of my mind, like when this opens up again, I want to come after it. And it just so happened that it happened the next year, and I was able to interview, and the school thought well enough to bring me back, which means a lot to me. But this place is home. My wife's a kindergarten teacher here. We get to teach and coach at the same school. And it's a dream come true. It's one of those things that, God's plan just works out. His plan's always better than what we could ever imagine. And we just trusted in that. And now we're where we want to be.
Well, Coach, that's awesome to hear. But thank you so much for coming on. Again, I'm here with Coach Brady Clarke, head coach of the Christoval Lady Cougars. They travel to Ozona on Friday to take on that first place Ozona team. So if the Cougars can get a win here, then they're in a tie for first place. Good luck, Coach. Go out and bring home that win. And again, thanks so much for coming on.
Perfect. Thanks, Matt.
And we are back. It was a great interview with Coach Clarke. Ryan, what is one thing that you took away from that interview that maybe you didn't know before, or you thought that was just super interesting?
Well, super interesting is how much this coach cares about his team. He loves the community of Christoval. He loves the community of San Angelo. He wants to be there, and you can tell. One thing I did not know his grandpa was the coach at Wall for a lot of years. So learn something new every day type thing, But
there you go.
It was a great talk. The interview went it flowed easy, and he knew exactly what he wanted to say. There was never any stop and go moments. You could tell how much he cares about the program, and yeah, it was just overall it was great.
Yeah, so make sure you rewind that, and also if you want to hear about the Central Bobcats or the Christoval Cougars, also rewind because those are also at the beginning of the show. Let's move on forward, guys. We're going to our next game, and it's going to be Wall High School versus Clyde High School. The Lady Hawks are up first, so let's talk about them. James, I will go to you. Tell me what happened last Tuesday for the Wall Lady Hawks and who they got tonight and what kind of that matchup is looking like.
They beat up on Great Creek. I mean, last Friday I was at their TLCA game where they beat up on TLCA. I talked to Brylan Watts, and her answer was like a regular Wall Lady Hawk answer. It's not me, it's the entire team. Yeah. So they're fired up going in. They lost 2 games to Jim Ned. So they understand that these games are, they have to win these games to stay up in district. So they're fired up about it.
Yep. And Chadwick, let's go to you. What is this Lady Bulldog team looking like this year for Clyde?
I mean, they're a little bit below middle of the pack, so I do expect another Lady Hawks stomp. Let's say it's going to be like the 3rd game in a row like this, but I will say the competition is going to be better than what the Lady Hawks got against Great Creek and TLCA.
Yeah, the first matchup between them, was it a blowout?
Honestly, this was one of the worst games that the Lady Hawks played all season. It was away in Clyde, and they had a really slow start in the first half. I was talking to a bunch of parents at halftime. They were sending me updates and stuff, and I was just like, oh, well, hope they figure it out. And the Lady Hawks did figure it out, and they ended up winning by about 12. But, yeah, it was a close thing there for a minute. So let's look for the Lady Hawks to play a little bit better this time around.
Absolutely, and maybe it'll be kind of not a wake-up call, but one of those deals where we should have shown what we were supposed to the first time, and now it's time to really show up. And that's a good test to see how much your team has grown throughout the weeks of play here. Going to the boys' side though, Chadwick, who did the boys play on Tuesday, and what's their matchup looking like tonight?
So, Wall played their most dominant game of the season, coming off of a loss against TLCA for basically dominance in the district, and they got beat by TLCA, and they came out and played angry against the Great Creek Eagles. They're out at Great Creek, and the defense looked amazing. They were creating havoc. The Eagles shot from 8% from the floor the entire night. The Hawks shut them out 39-0 at halftime, ended up beating them 81-5. With that being said, Great Creek, I'm not just dogging on you. I understand that y'all are basically starting 3 freshmen right now. Y'all will be better in the future, but just keep playing hard, take these lessons, and learn. But yeah, the Wall Hawks went nuts on Tuesday.
Okay. And then, James, let's talk about the Clyde Bulldogs. They're 5-3. The Hawks, they beat them their first matchup. We thinking that it's probably going to be the same type of thing, or do you think that Clyde's gotten better since the first time they played?
Man, for Wall to win this one, they have to go to Everson Armstrong. He's their ASU signing. He's good. But Ogden Hallmark, I think he had 5 threes against TLCA last Friday, and they rely on that shot. I don't want to see them down and then start chunking up threes, trying to they at one point against TLCA they were down 8 points, and it wasn't super unimaginable that they couldn't overcome it, but they were just getting down there and shooting up threes and missing threes, and then that lead started growing back for TLCA. So I don't want to see them, if they're down, I don't want to see them getting into that. Let's hurry up. You can't make up 8 points in one shot. So take your time, play your game. Take it. And I know it was not as convincing as a win as the girls had over Clyde, but just do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you
game.
live by the 3, you die by the 3, unless you're the Golden State Warriors or something. But that's as basic as you can get. The things of basketball that hasn't changed, no matter how many times the game has evolved to this 3-point game and that it is now, and the shooting game that it is now, it's still the same thing. You live by the 3, you die by the 3. So if you go off, heck, you could go off in the state championship, win your state championship. But if you have one night where they don't fall, then that will be the night that you will likely lose this thing. So, Chadwick, with that being said, let's go ahead and get some picks going. Let me hear what you got for the ladies, and then let me hear what you got for the boys.
I'm thinking a full sweep from the Hawks tonight. Lady Hawks just don't have enough competition against them, and I don't think that they're going to be sleeping on this one either. So I picked them winners by about 10. And then for the boys, I say that this game is going to be a little bit more lopsided than the last one as well. They won by 6 at Clyde. I think at home, after a dominant win against Great Creek, they're feeling good. I say they win by about 20.
All right, yeah. The Lady Hawks, they're number 14 in the state for a reason, and I think they're going to show this one tonight. I think they're going to win handedly. I'm giving them a 20-point victory down there. For the boys, though, it's going to be closer than what you would expect. I'm going to guess it's going to be around that 6 to 8 point range. I think the Wall Hawks do hang on, but I think it's going to be because of a push late in the fourth. James, what about you?
I agree that I think Wall's going to. Lady Hawks and Hawks are going to come home with victories tonight. I think the girls will win by 10-15, and the boys will. I'm going to say the same. I think they win by the same amount. I think they're going to remember that TLCA loss, and then they're playing hot right now. They're playing good. I think they're gonna take this one pretty good by like 15-20 points. So.
All right, there you go. There's our picks for the Wall High School versus Clyde High School basketball games tonight. Guys, where's James? Where's this game going to be located at, and what time do they start?
The girls start at 6:30 in Wall, and the boys start at 7:45.
It says 7:45, but it's one of those. The boys start when the girls' game is over.
Yeah, so right after the girls' game, the boys start at Wall.
Yeah, so. You may know it by the amount of people walking out of the gym. I'll say it. All right, moving on to the next set of games we got. This one, we're not going to probably spend as much time as we have on these other ones because in my opinion, I think we're probably looking for some blowouts. I don't know. It's going to be TLCA of San Angelo versus Grape Creek. Ryan, we'll start with you. Tell me something that you are looking forward to out of this game.
I think that this is going to be one of the games that the Lady Eagles can win in their district this season. In their first matchup, the Lady Eagles almost won this one. They ended up losing by 4, but like
you have a score for that?
Yeah, it was 26-22. Okay. And the reason the Lady Eagles lost that one is because they missed some free throws down the stretch.
There you go.
So like I know the head coach out there, her name Mylan Goodlow. I was talking to her 2 weeks back, and she was like, "That's one thing that we've been working on is our free throw shooting. So let's actually look for these Lady Eagles to snag a win after the meat grinder that they just went through against Wall and Jim Nett."
Yeah, no kidding. All right, James, let's move on to the boys' side of things. What are we looking for? What's going to be the most exciting part of this game?
This TLCA team is for real. They are the real deal down there, and it's hard to pick out their best player because they're all very good. They are just going to... I don't want to just dog because they're, like Chadwick said, they're starting 3 freshmen down there at Grape Creek, but this TLCA team is just too good for Grape Creek. They're going to just run away with this one.
Chadwick, I want to know one thing. What was the score to Grape Creek versus Wall last Tuesday?
81-5.
81-5. Guys, do we think that this game could be worse than the Wall versus Grape Creek game? Do you think that the score could be more out of hand, James?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be out of hand regardless. Yeah, but I don't know if it'll be 81-5.
5 is hard to do twice.
I mean, man, it's
And it just
depends on how much
still going to do the press the whole game.
Yeah, it depends on how much Coach Sherrill wants to press it this game. If he backs off, puts his backups in, even their backups are good. Which one am I saying? They're all talented. They're all very good there at TLCA. So it's hard to. It's going to be 70, 80, 90 to 10.
So
15.
Me and Chadwick, we were kind of I guess we all kind of have over the last few weeks was we've been just kind of arguing who the best players on the team. We say it's the Sherrill kid. We say it's the Oveda brothers. We say it's
Villanueva.
Villanueva.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Everybody on their team is really good. So that's kind of just the vibe of this TLCA Eagles team. This could be a real big shot for them to go really deep in the playoffs. And tonight is definitely going to be kind of a practice session.
I think that I don't know if TLCA's offense is going to put up more than 81 points, but I could definitely see Coach Sherrill pressing the entire time and trying to get a shutout.
All right, that would be super cool.
And talking to Sherrill at Wall, he said, TLCA, they kind of feel like they're the forgotten school, and I kind of reflected on that throughout the game, and then when they beat Wall, and I was talking to him after the game, he said he's just proud to be a part of putting TLCA on the map. So I think that after this season, TLCA is really going to start at least in basketball, is going to start really showing up.
Oh yeah, they will finally be considered the third high school of San Angelo.
Yeah, I mean, the football and the football did make the playoffs this year as far as football goes. But I think they're finally going to start being known that, hey, they're in San Angelo too, just like Central, just like Lakeview. They're going to be one of those teams. So.
Well, because before this season, and let's say the last 5 or 6 years, they've always been attributed to more of some of our private schools here than an actual one of our public schools. And I know it's a charter school, but it keeps growing every year. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's all the way up to a 3A now. It's playing in the same district as Wall, and so you go far enough in the playoffs this year, everyone in the Concho Valley is going to know that San Angelo has three big high schools again.
They were small 2A at one point. When they first started, they were small 2A, then moved to big 2A. Now they're small 3A, so they're growing. They're growing very fast.
And they're growing rapidly.
I mean, it was only 7 to 10 years ago that they were 2A.
It honestly reminds me a little bit of Lubbock Cooper's origins, and now Lubbock Cooper's a 5A.
So yeah, they're going to keep growing. They're going to be, they're going to make a name for themselves there.
Yep, absolutely. So I need some picks, guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. James, we'll start with you.
I'm going TLCA boys, big time. I think they hold Grape Creek to, low double digits. 20, less than 20. But they're going to score 70 or 80. And I'm going to give it to the Lady Eagles, or I guess they're both Lady Eagles. The TLCA Eagles,
good call there.
They got a lot of good work against Wall. I know Wall, the Lady Hawks put it on them pretty good. But I was at that game, and that Lady Eagle team put a lot of work in on the defensive side of the ball, and that's just going to make them better throughout the year. So I think they're going to win this one. It's going to be close, though. I think it's going to be 30-32 or 32-30, something like that.
I'm going to go ahead and say that this is probably not going to look good for the Grape Creek Eagles. Of course, the boys for the TLCA Eagles are really, really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and make that one a blowout. I don't even want to say a score for that one. It's going to be really bad. But for the girls, I'm thinking it's going to be a really close game. And I think Grape Creek is going to be able to hang on, unfortunately. And I think they get the 3-point victory out after what Chadwick said is just going to be a mess of some missing free throws.
And I am going to go 75-0 TLCA over Grape Creek.
The shutout.
The boys. Yeah, I'm going for the shutout. Come on, Coach Sherrill. Play your starters in the fourth. I get it. Come on. I want to see it. You never see shutouts in basketball. I want to see it.
There you go.
You play your stars in the fourth. You got something personal.
Yeah.
That's a personal thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. Emerson Armstrong never sat the bench in that Wall game, so
maybe it was personal for him. Who knows?
All right, and for the ladies, I'm gonna actually pick TLCA girls in this one. I think this is finally y'all's time. Y'all are gonna get that victory, and I'm gonna say it's by a score of only about 2. I'm gonna say 30-28 TLCA girls.
All right, there you go. There's our picks for the TLCA Eagles. We will be right back after this quick message for our rapid fire segment.
You've been asking for discounts, and I've been asking the factory for vehicles. Well, it's all lining up. We are offering big discounts, and our lots are filling up with inventory. It's a great time to be looking for a new car or truck. We have up to $9,500 in total savings. You can only get deals like this at Jim Bass Ford, at the corner of Houston Hart and Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
So we were on vacation, family vacation, having a good time, and we get the call.
It was a river. It was a river in our house. That's the big thing, is we kept wondering, how bad is it?
It was devastating. I was like numb. It's like, how are we going to handle all this? What are we going to do?
And welcome back. It's time to get a little bit of that rapid fire action. So everybody has picked 2 games or 2 teams that they like tonight, and we're going to go ahead and break down all of those. We only got 30 seconds to spit them out. So Ryan, we will start with you.
I'm just going to start with the Lakeview Chiefs. They played the Snyder Tigers on Wednesday, ended up falling by 8 points, missed 14 free throws in that game, guys. That's the difference in the game. Playing Sweetwater this week. It's another team that's 0-4 in district. Y'all got one more win than them. Go win this one.
Miles is playing Roscoe. That's a district game for them. I think the Miles boys only lost 1 game in district. They're both very good. The boys and girls there in Miles are both very, very good. So I think they're going to both win their games tonight.
All right, for me, I got the Erie County boys. They only have one loss in the season so far, and it came to McMullen County, and it was in a tournament. So really, have they lost a basketball game that they've been prepared for? Absolutely not. And they've been tearing up teams. They've even been playing teams in the 4A. Remember, they're a 1A. They played Lakeview Chiefs and won 53-37. They're going to be playing Robert Lee tonight, who is a middle-of-the-pack team. They're 2-2 in district right now, but it's never impossible, especially when you're talking about these district action. So be on the lookout for the Erie County boys tonight.
Just want to note the other teams playing in the Little Southwest Conference tonight, as the Bobcats and Tigers are doing battle in San Angelo. It's going to be Odessa versus Odessa and Midland versus Midland. So let's see the district eat each other a little bit, so the Bobcats can get a win and get back up in the standings. I want to see Odessa High beat Permian, and I want to see Legacy beat Midland High.
One of the big districts that we've been looking at all year long has been the district between Wall, Jim Ned, and TLCA. Since we told you about TLCA, since we told you about Wall, I figured I'd come in and tell you about Jim Ned. They're going to be taking on Coahoma tonight. They are 5th in the district, sitting at 4-4. Jim Ned off a loss against TLCA on Tuesday, so they're going to be hungry for a win, and I guarantee you they get the job done.
We're going to talk about Reagan County, Christoval, and Sterling City. Reagan County is now first in that district. They beat Christoval pretty well, and they beat Sterling City. Sterling City is playing El Dorado tonight. Last week on Tuesday they played Forsan. They beat Forsan in overtime. Christoval lost to Forsan, so I think right now Christoval and Sterling City are tied. So they need to keep winning in order to stay up in that district. Christoval needs to keep winning, stay up in that district. The end of this, second district run, which I guess would be for the boys' second district run, is going to be very key for all three of those teams.
All right, and final thoughts, guys, for the day. This has been the COVER1 Hoops Show. We're going to tell you everything about the preview. We gave you a coach's interview. Make sure you go back and watch it, and if you're interested in any of the teams, make sure you go back and listen to it. We'll now go to the final thoughts here. Ryan Chadwick, what's your final thought?
Bobcats, play sound defense tonight. Y'all on a 3-game losing streak. It's not something that you're used to already winning 17 games in this season. Just play your game, play sound defense, and just trust each other. That's one thing that Coach V always says when we have a loss. It's like we just didn't trust each other enough tonight. We got to trust each other more. Like, trust your teammates to get to your spots, and then when you pass the ball, the teammates are going to make the shots, and let's go get a win.
All right, James, final thoughts.
I'd like to give a shout out to Jaron Slayton. He's signed with Victoria College in Victoria, Texas, so congratulations, man. You deserve it. Go get yourself some wins this year. Go make state championship. I know both teams there in Christoval guaranteed it when I talked to them a few weeks back. So.
And I will be at the TLCA game tonight, so if you see me, say hello, and we'll be all rooting for that shutout victory if it happens. Ryan, you'll be right, and that'll be an incredible story to write. So
I want to see it.
For everyone,
play
here
your starters.
Yeah, there you go. Play your starters, Coach. He says. All right, this has been COVER1 Hoops. We will see you guys next Friday.